Hello, if you've been here before, welcome back. If not, hi. My name is David. I make videos talking about media that I want to talk about. This is a new one for me. I'm trying things out here. I'm trying new things here. This is me going to organize my new bookshelves because I moved and my parents got me these two new ones. They're different, I know, but they're free. So this one I bought, and this one a while ago. This is the one I've been having. And then this one I just bought and just built last night. And I made a little filming corner. And yeah, I can film here. If the audio is a little different, I'm so sorry. I don't have a microphone on because I'm gonna be moving around, and I know that's just gonna cause feedback sound and just clothes sound that I don't want y'all to hear. I also don't like hearing that. And so we're gonna have a little echo here, I think. It's a little bare in this room, so there's a little bit of an echo. But yeah, I wanted to just do the process of organizing my books. I know a lot of people do that on BookTube. And I want to just talk through my process of organizing books and how I do that, and you'll get to see a little behind the stage look at my process, I guess. So I'm thinking of, we have the large shelves and the smaller shelves, right? I'm thinking of having the first 3 rows be like super important books, maybe 2.5. I'm not fully sure yet. And then having the rest of these for the rest of the books. And I would like to organize in like science fiction, fantasy, literary fiction. However, I know that I have a majority of mostly science fiction and fantasy books, and like a handful of the other types of books, other genres. And so I don't want to separate it like that. And so I overall will just do alphabetical, by last name, alphabetical. And if I'm doing like this center focus, I'll start it here and go down, continue it down here, and then start it up here and see how that goes. I'm adding some B-reel of all the books that I have owned, all of them. So you'll see I have a lot of books, and they're slightly separated in like the first pile is the books that I had already shown. If you remember from previous videos, I've had 2 shelves. There's a shelf outside which had the most important books, and then also the shelf inside which had good books. I also had 2 boxes full of other books that I deemed not as amazing as other books, and so I didn't want to display them instead of like other types of books. But here I'm going to try to display all of them because I have the space for it, you know? So might as well use the space to do it. And also, as you can see, there's so many books. I will also try to do like an unhaul, is that what it's called? Where, you know, there's some books here that I'm like, I don't really want to keep hold of, say, for example, Game of Thrones. I loved Game of Thrones as a show, as a book series, but I don't need to hold on to them because I can just easily get it from the library if I ever need to. And I know that those books have been stuck in the boxes for a long time, and I haven't wanted to return to them, so we're gonna give them away. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. I don't know how to record exactly what I'm doing. I was thinking of doing the putting books on but having it like super fast speed, but I feel like that's a little awkward and I don't really like that. So we'll see how it goes. I forgot if I had shown this in the B-roll. This box right here has a bunch of other books as well. I don't think it was in the B-roll. It has my books and some of my boyfriend's books as well. That will also be represented here because representation matters, you know what I mean? And so that will be something to also think of where I'm going to put these. So first I'm going to focus on the important section. And the first things first, I'm trying to figure out which one feels better. But one of these top 2, I will put the books that I have yet to read. because when I get books, physical books, that I would like to read, to make myself less overwhelmed by the amount of books that I need to read, I put it in order of when I got it. So let's at least start with that. I know these two books are next on my list. Can you read them? If you can't, that's fine. We'll get to them eventually. Because I wanted to also be like, hey, let me show off some of the books that I have yet to read. You can't really see those that there. Maybe? I think I'll have to start over here. Because these are, pull from and then organize. And then I'll start. Yeah, I think it'll be like reading, like do. I'll have a section here to like cut off in a way to delineate when the special books are there, you know what I mean? And you can't really see these here, but I know that when I record different things, it'll be shown. So for example, let me move the camera. For example, if I wanted to record something over here like this, you could see these over here. Well, not this one. Should I move them forward a bit, maybe too? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'll be putting the books that I have yet to read here in the order of when they arrive. So for example, these two books, I bought them at the same time at Target. Ooh, tilt. Okay. These books I bought at the same time at Target on sale, and I ordered them to I don't know how I ordered them, but one has to be read before the other, and so I'll read this one first, Lucy Foley, and then Girl of Good Fortune, and then after that, I just have a bunch, the next books, let me just get them, I guess. I went to a book club, and I went, at the book club, bought some books. I asked them what's a good horror, and they said this book, Freak's Law. Don't know anything about it. It's queer and horror. I enjoyed that. And the next book to read for the book club was going to be The Devils. They changed it, but I still am so excited to read The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, so that's going straight on this line here. And so because I got Freak's Law and then Joe Abercrombie, The Devils, after that, then these two are going to be after these two. So does that make sense? Am I overcomplicating this for y'all? I read the next book I read is the earliest book I have gotten a hand of. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I have all of the books that I have owned that I have yet to read ready. Part of this video is also going to be organizing my Legos, because I have a bunch of Legos. I think you've seen a handful of them before, and I just want to organize them. I know in this little space I can put some Legos. This will grow and expand depending. So if I get some Legos that are able to be squished or able to be spread out, that's also good as well. Put some on top here, maybe put some on here, but I may put books here too, depending on space that I have. And yeah, so I'll be right back, and I'll have all of this filled with the best books, my top books. All right, and we're back. I have organized. These are my top rated books. And I still have some space left over. I thought that I was gonna run out, and I allowed for some books that I had to remove from my former shelf, and I added them back in and stuff like that. But there's definitely room for growth. I know that, I have the first Hunger Games here, and I have Sunrise here, and I have Ballads somewhere on the floor. Oh, and Catching Fire here as well. And all I need is Mockingjay, and then I can just bring them all together. But for now, I'm keeping Sunrise at the top here, and keeping Hunger Games OG and Songbirds, Ballads, Songbirds, and Snakes elsewhere. And I wanted to also, I remembered when I was organizing this, that I wanted to have also a shelf just for series that I want to show off, because there are some series that I've been collecting and wanting to display, quote unquote. And so I want to also do that as well. I thought of doing this. I told myself not to, and then I saw it, how it feels, and I'm like, actually, yeah, that'd be really fun. I wanted to display all the book of the month options that I've chosen. And I was not going to do it because I am missing one of the options. I started in February and I have given away one of the books because I did not like it as much. But I think it's still pretty fun to have these, and I would organize these probably by the month instead of the author, maybe. This is what I have so far. And I think it'd be really fun to display these. So that's going to be over here somewhere. And then over here, I'm going to be putting, I have a lot of short story anthologies collections, either by the same author or by different authors. I'll be putting them here. I also have notebooks for books that I've annotated. For example, The God of Small Things, Please Look After Mom, Sunrise, and where's the other one? Homegoing. Want to have them here, as well as other notebooks. Like I have my notebook for Magnus Archives, would be putting here somewhere as well. And also just use the rest of these shelves for series that I want to show off as well. And so we'll be back for that. Congratulations, you have taken flight. So I finished these sections. So these are going to be our short story anthology collections. These are all of the, best American science fiction fantasy books. Best Or of the Year, Ellen Datlow. I have the next 2 editions up next, eventually. And then other short story collections I have. I think I should have more. Actually, I have Machado. Should go here, because it is a short story collection, so I'll fix that. And I have notebooks that I have annotated for books, and my podcast as well. These are Magnus Archives. I don't know where my Malevolent notebook is. It's somewhere. And then here I'm putting all of the book of the month grabs once I get to them in the order of, there we go, in the order of when I got them. And so now, and then over here, I'm putting like series that I'm quote unquote collecting. I have the entirety of the Septimus Heap series over here. I will be getting copies of all of the Percy Jackson series, so that's going to go in here. Like I said, once I get all of the Hunger Games books, they'll go over here as well. And over here, we have my boyfriend's books. There's not that many, and I didn't organize them because I don't know how he would like to organize them. So, hey Matthew, if you're seeing this, you can organize this if you so desire. Next, I have all these books to organize in alphabetical order according to the author. What I'm going to do now is this stack on this, what is this? Golden wool? Good. I know that I want them to go onto the shelves, and they'll be on the shelves. That stack over there in the back corner is books that I will have to sift through, and I will be choosing books that I will give away because I don't want them anymore. And so that's going to be next. Okay, so I forgot something, right? So I told myself, hey, David, in the future, when I was packing these things up, these books up, I wanted to catalog the books. I wanted to see what books I had in person, physical books, what I've read, and keep track of them, see, when did I read them, when did I finish them, what year they were published, etc. Keeping track of all the books. I did that for all the books that I had displayed. And then I was like, oh, and then once I unpack all of the books that I have in the box, the 2 boxes of full books, I can add that onto my catalog. And I completely forgot to do that up until the moment that I started organizing these stacks. I started organizing, and I was like, oh, I need to mark down these things because I already did that for these. And so I have to make sure they're separated and catalog them. So I get to show you my catalog. So I have them. This is just 2025. I started keeping track of books in 2020. And I have like the master list. And then year NA is just the books that I had before I started keeping track of them. And I have the title, author, series if it is, if it's not, anthology, if it's also like a standalone. Date started if I have it, date finished if I have it, publication year, page count, genre, rating, the rating I gave, Goodreads rating, and then like notes if I if I wanted to. I'm gonna go do that. Because there's so many, I'm still trying to do this shelf. I'm just gonna put in like the name of the book and the author, and then fill in the rest later. But I need to do that first. So I'll be back after I do that. So I finally finished cataloging all of the books in that extra box, put the names and authors in the Excel sheet that I have, and just organize them in piles of no specific importance, except for this pile is books that I'm like, I could put them on the shelf, but I don't need to. So if I am running out of space, that's that. And then these books, I'm going to be donating. Some of these books, I was looking at them and it felt really nice to look back at them because a good portion of them are books that I got from high school when I was in high school, and I was reading them, and it was to help me figure out, I'm gay and what's it like to be in a relationship like that. So some of these books were very, very formative for my homosexual experience, and so it was really fun revisiting them. And I want to share that in 2 full boxes of books, I had 104 books packed into there and just in storage. It's specifically that I had a lot of books on like shelves in my room when I was growing up during high school. And when I moved away to college, I had my parents pack all those books into like a box and just keep them in storage. And then when they moved away, I got a hold of those books. There are a lot of these books I haven't even glimpsed since late high school, and so it's really fun to be able to revisit them. What I already have cataloged on my spreadsheet is about 200 books that I've read. Granted, this is not books that I own. A good chunk of them are audiobooks, mostly Animorphs, but physical books at least is about, I'll say, 180. And so that's 180 books that I had cataloged already, that were on my shelves already in my old apartment. Now my new apartment, that's 180 books plus the 103 books in my extra box. So I'll be back to share how that looks on my shelves. Okay, so halfway through, these are alphabetized by last name of author, going from A to M, and then N. Just one book that starts with N. I think that's the only one I've seen. Oh, there's another one. But this is half of the alphabet, I think. I don't want to count. This is half of the books, and I have the other half. Not super well organized, obviously, just sort of stacked on top, because I was like, okay, anything that's other than past N, LMNO, P, QRST, etc., just stacked it on top here, just so I can have it there, and then I'll start organizing it from then. And looking at it so far, I have a lot more space than I realized, which is very fun, which means that I can fit a lot more books here, which is exciting. And yeah, so I already have half of that settled, and I'll be back for the next half. I did all of the last of the alphabet, N, O, P onwards, and I have a lot more space. I have 3 shelves and like a half over here, which is, let me show you here, but that is for like my boyfriend stuff. So what I'm thinking of, I know that I have this shelf here for short story collections, right? I have this one for series ... and I have the book of the months here, Roly Cherry. So these 2 shelves in the very center, they are slightly larger, and I wanted to use that as sort of like a indicator of when there's a cutoff. But because I have a lot more space, I think I'm going to move these 2 what is this? 4 shelves and a half onto here. And move some stuff around. Maybe move my boyfriend's books down over here and have this space open, because I know there's some books in some series that I want to fill out, have more of, and physically, and so I want to have that space there. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just be able to have more space and have it allocated correctly. Maybe. Is that the right terminology? I don't know. I'm really tired. It's been like a few hours. But yeah, so I'm gonna move these over here so that it'll be center shelves, important, interesting focal point, and then miscellaneous other books alphabetized. So let's get to that. Okay, well, welcome to my bookshelf. Let me give you a tour. So to begin with, we have the shelf where I've been putting the books that I have yet to read in the order of when I got them. So I got this book first, and this was the last book that I added. And then we have books that are my top books with space to grow, all alphabetized by last name of the author. Here we have the short story anthologies that I will be collecting, and the notebooks that I will be having of different books that I annotate. The other series that I'm collecting, I know that the Hunger Games will grow, as well as the Lightning Thief Rick Riordan books. This series is completed. This series is completed. These is not a duology per se, but hey, they go together, and they will be moving eventually. Here, this shelf, I'll be having as another series collections, and I know for a fact that these series I will be growing. I need to reread Cinder. I need to own physical copies of The Locked Tomb. I need to reread The Kingdom Keepers. I have the second book of the Book of Dust duology to read, and then Martha Wells' Murderbot Diaries, definitely going to be continuing that, so that will fill up over here. Over here is going to be the books of the month that I'm collecting. Eventually it'll be fill up here. My boyfriend's books, I organize them from tallest to smallest. He'll organize them how he wants to. And then the rest of the library, alphabetized from A to Z. If a shelf had a book series that I didn't want to break apart, for example, and here there's some space here because I didn't want to break apart this series that I read, then I just gave it a little space there. There will be series here, and there will be series here that are different, because series here I enjoy the most, and series here are pretty fine, are pretty good. The rest of the alphabet, and then some empty spaces here and there. Oh god. There it is. Which I'll be filling with some Legos, so I'll be right back with that. This is where I'm going to have a little bit of experiment with filming, learning new techniques, etc., etc. Because here are all the Legos that I transported in this cardboard box. They're all just sort of packed on top here. They're mostly flowers and stuff like that, so they pretty much survived pretty well. There's some that I know that are a little messed up. But I will reconstruct them, and then we'll find them over here. And I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna do a little experiment thing. I'm gonna do the fast forward me pulling them out and putting them on there. Let's see if that's fun. If not, I'll just cut it. We'll see. already started decorating some stuff. So now I'm just gonna be decorating the shelves with the Legos because I love the Legos, but I don't have that much counter space, like horizontal space to place them. And so I got plenty of space here. So let's get to decorating. And yes, I did it. This was a lot of work, but a lot of fun. I added Legos everywhere, decorations, little figurines that I had here and there, and I'm really happy with how it looks. And this is a great location to film because there's multiple different angles, multiple different shelves to just sit in front and talk about books. And I have space for more books, and I'm just super excited for this shelf to just keep growing. And let me show you the lower sections. Even more Legos, even more books. You can't see it that well, but that's the Jurassic Park entrance. And yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. This Japanese garden survived miraculously well. I was afraid that some of the extension things would be destroyed in the move, but it didn't. The flowers, the 4 Seasons, 4 Gentlemen, that next to the books of the month, I'd say inspired choice. You know what I mean? This Finch bird I built with my boyfriend, and having space here too because there's more Legos that I want to get that we haven't gotten yet. So, and other stuff here. So many books, so many. I need to find out how many books I have in person displayed right now. This is every single book I own. And this is only going to grow. And I'm super excited for that, to share my journey being a book owner, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking. I'm so tired right now. But this was a lot of fun. And now I have a lot more space in my new apartment because this was taking up a lot. But hey, I made content out of it and I'm sharing with y'all. So, thank you. Thank you so much if you watched this. I had a lot of fun. Let me know if you recognize any of the books that I saw that I mentioned here. There's some books that I have not even looked at in a hot minute. And so this is it. I'll be able to now fully look at what I have and say, I need to reread this. I need to get rid of this. I need to keep reading this series. I need to build my knowledge. And so I'm really excited. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to be passionate, and I'll see you later.